Most coaches running ads are paying for a bunch of leads that are never going to buy. I'm going to show you my exact two-step system that I use to get high ticket clients using paid ads. Let's get started. Now let's talk about the first thing that you're going to want to do. And before I get too far into that, just note that some of this is going to make you a little bit uncomfortable, likely if you haven't been spending this much on ads before. Plus, there's going to be some things in the ads that you may not be familiar with, but don't sweat it. You'll get it. And I have videos explaining how to input all this stuff. I'll put those in the description, so don't worry about that at all. But the first thing is you want to start running Instagram follower ads immediately. You want to have them always on, always running. It's non-negotiable. And you may say to me, well, Ben, my ideal audience is on Facebook. I hear you. But your ideal audience is on Instagram too. They're everywhere. You just want to make sure you're getting in front of enough of them. And there's plenty of them out there on Instagram. Now, why Instagram helps you is because Instagram will show your organic content to people that don't know you. Facebook doesn't do that. So there's a problem there. You can grow your followers or, page likes and that kind of thing, but they're usually not highly valuable because they're not going to see you organically after that. You can do it using ads, but then you're just completely dependent upon ads. You want to use ads and organic together. So even if you don't have any followers or very few, start putting out content on Instagram. Make that a priority. Repurpose your content. And what you're going to want to run ads to, just so I can kind of clarify that, is you want to let them get to know you with these type of ads. These are not call to action, comment this, DM me that, 5 tips of this, 5 tips of that. I mean, you can do some of that, but you really want to let them get to know you, your story, your background, your philosophy, how you look at things, how you do things, because this is going to weed a lot of people out. And it's especially going to weed out the people that that you don't connect with. You ever get a client that you're just not sure if you should take them on as a client because you're not sure if you're aligned? Well, this will weed a lot of those out. And you're going to want to run these at $50 a day. So you might, I've heard people saying, well, you can run ads for $5 a day. And I have videos about that. You can check those out. But $5 a day ads not going to cut it. It's just a numbers game. That's all it is. I mean, that's what people leave out when they talk about doing $5 a day is you're not getting enough numbers. And the reason that $5 a day, that it does work for some things, but for this, the reason it won't work is you're not going to get enough people through and you're going to think it's not working. And when you think it's not working, you're going to quit way too early. $50 a day should get you between 30 to 80 followers. Your goal is a day. So your goal is to get followers under $3, preferably around $1. That's kind of the goal. And the way you want to do this is you do not want to set up your follower ads using the Instagram app or Instagram.com or the business suite. You want to do this from the ads manager. That's because you can target much more narrowly. Is that right? Is that a word? You want to target much more narrowly than you do than you can with those apps and stuff. So this will really help you get in front of more of the right people. And you don't want to leave it open where Meta is going to kind of choose your targeting for you. This is not the place for that. There's other places for that. So that's really how you do it. This is all about kind of letting them get to know you, your philosophy, what you're about, how your stuff works, so that they are following you. Okay, so that they follow you because they like what they're hearing from that standpoint. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do, let me get my iPad pulled up here. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to retarget those people. And so again, I show you how to do this in other videos, but you're going to retarget those people to an application. And so it has to be a really compelling application. It can't be just, you really have to ask them some real questions and make sure that it's really going to give you information that you can use. But at the same time, you don't want to overwhelm them with stuff. Like you don't need them to write 20 paragraphs. Okay. You just need them to give you enough information so that they understand what's coming next. And so you run them to the application, but here's how that's going to work. You're going to make your audiences of your followers, your retargeting audiences. If you have under 20,000 followers, then you're going to want to add in profile visitors as a retargeting audience, because it's just not enough if you don't have at least 20,000 or more. and you're going to run 3 ads simultaneously from 3 different angles. Okay, that's really all you have to do is just run those three ads. You're going to use 3 different angles. You're going to use like a problem-based angle, an outcome-based angle, and a contrarian angle, something like that. Those tend to work really well. And so 3 ads, whoops, 3 angles is essentially what we're talking about there. And what you're going to do is you're going to spend between $25 to $50 a day. You're probably not going to spend the upper amount. You're probably going to spend the lower to the 25 in the beginning, and that's fine. And the one job here is just to get the right person to raise their hand and apply. That's all you're trying to do here. So application should be about $50 an app. Now, I will tell you, some people pay double that. Okay, it's okay if the rest of the numbers work. It just depends. You'll have to follow these numbers. This cannot be about feelings. You can't feel like this is working or feel like it's not. If you're using that word when you're talking about your metrics, you're doing it wrong. Don't use the word feelings for this. So anyway, $50 an app, and then you're going to get book calls. So most people, you got to realize if somebody fills out an application, they're not necessarily going to book a call. But for every 10 people that fill out an application, about 80% are going to book a call. That's really how it works with this kind of funnel. So your calls are going to get between $75 to $125 per call. Okay, yeah, not bad. So you'll end up getting about 1 to 3 applications. One application every 1 to 3 days. And then out of that, you'll get, you'll get like 2 applications or 3 applications out of every 4. 3 book calls out of every 4 or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And that really works well. So now you're getting these people on your calendar. So the next thing that's going to happen, let's just kind of look at the math of that. So now you've got them into your funnel. You've got them direct to app. Those are your 2 steps. But let's just look at the math of what everything looks like. So your follower ads, you're doing 50 a day. That is $1,500 a month. Okay, great. Your retargeting ads to the app, and I'm just going to average it like $25 to $50 a day. So the average is going to be about 37 a day. Okay, that puts you at about 1,100. Let's just say 1,100 a month. Okay, that means your total spend for a month is going to be about $2,600. But you should end up with that. Okay, you should end up with roughly about 20 applications. Okay, if 80% of those book calls, you'll end up with 16 calls. You should have at least a 65% show up rate. And if you're not getting that with this, then I'm going to do another video about how to do that. But you should get at least 65% show rate. So that would be 10 to 11 show ups. Got to think of a better way to say that. But anyway, show ups, you know what I mean. And then once you have that, if you're able to close 30%, then that should be at $3,000. In other words, I'm going to assume you have a $3,000 offer. If you don't, make one. You're underselling yourself. You're not doing it right. If you have a $1,500 offer, double the value or triple the value and give it to them for $3,000. So if you do 30% at $3,000, then your revenue is going to be about $9,000 on your $2,600 ad spend. That's about a 3.4x ROAS, return on ad spend. That's great. Now you might be thinking, well, I know such and such that got a 10x. Yeah, sometimes you can get 10x. Just this is a steady funnel, if that makes any sense. Your 9x's, your 10x's, those kind of things come from master classes and so forth, which you're not going to be running every day. This is designed to run every single day so that you're getting applications every day. And if you can get a 3.4x return, Well, you need to just jump on that. And remember, this is just for 1 month. Like, this is not the whole thing. Month 2, your followers get more and more and more, and your return on ad spend goes up, because you're going to figure out how to, get more people on the calls. You're going to figure out which content works better. It just keeps going. So what really kills this, let me just kind of, I'm going to stop sharing screen for that. But what really kind of kills this is trying to target too broadly, okay? Because the wrong followers are going to break the system. Wrong followers are going to beget more wrong followers. And remember, Meta's not going to know if they're the right followers or not. They're just looking at the followers. They don't know if they're going to actually buy. The other thing that happens is that people tend to give up before a critical mass is hit. And what I mean is they start running the ads, and they're not, because they're, again, basing it on feelings, and even to some extent the numbers, they're not getting the traction that they want, so they figure it doesn't work. Now, there is, you do have to make changes, you do have to optimize, but you've got to keep going, and you've got to keep leaning into it. This is not something you want to try for a month, and if it doesn't work, you're out of business. You can't do that. You have to be committed to this over a period of time, and your budget may adjust some. You might find out that you can spend $50 a day for top of funnel, and you can spend $20 a day for middle of funnel and make that work, right? Like, I'm just giving you the baseline numbers for most people. Another thing that really, really kills this is running only on one ad angle. So you really have to test 3 and pick the winner. And you really need to do that for both your top of funnel and your middle of funnel. Once you really find ones that work, lean into them. Like, you don't have to keep overly testing. People do that where they're getting $1 followers, and then they're trying to, improve that. And the best they can improve it to is 90 cents. Well, that's effectively no difference. So you have to understand that when you get $1 followers, you're probably not going to get it much less than that. And even if you are, you're probably going to spend more in testing than you are. That's going to really offset any benefit that you're going to get for trying to get them down to 90 cents. So you have to be careful when you're testing. Testing is kind of a misnomer, and it's a marketer's out, because any agency or any marketer out there can say, oh, you just need to test more. Okay, yeah, sometimes, but that's not always the answer either. One thing that really happens often too is you might end up getting a streak of broke people, and that'll happen. People who just aren't good fits, and so there's a problem. There could be a problem there, but you're going to get them anyway. I do not care how narrow you target, how good your messaging is. You're going to get people who are absolutely should never have gotten on the call with you, and a lot of them. And that, again, that's going to feel like things aren't working. But look at the numbers. Okay. Is it really not working if you got 5 bad calls in a row, or does it just feel that way? You have to really track those numbers and make sure that, just make sure that you're optimizing for the right things and that you're getting enough people through. All right. This is just 2 steps. That's all you got to do. Follower ads build the audience. Retargeting turns that audience into applications, and book calls. That's it. Now, if you want to see how to build the right funnel, then I broke it all down on this next video. Check it out.